beings. Okay, how are you doing? Great. All right. Aloha, sacred ones, or family, all of us kin folk, loved ones, so worthy to be experienced as loved family. I'll take a moment to share this. Let's see. Welcome. Welcome you to Heart Heal through these experiences as I share this. So we are functioning. Hawaii, Ashakashai, All right, I'm share to a couple more. Thankful for our vessels, for our beings. Welcome. All right, so what we are working with, or who? So I'm going to bring forth these crystal beings and the metal beings that chose to come forward in this and give a nice, lovely, helpful message. So we have that like that. How are you feeling? So right now I'm doing crystal beings and shells and bells readings. Beautiful. Beautiful messages. Okay. So right now, you want to see what I just did? So right here I put crystals, put shells, and I put bells together. I'm going to read them. And you can see them. I have to show the ones who are on the other camera. You can see them right there. Okay? Beautiful to see you. Beautiful that you're doing with wellness as well. Thank you for your presences. happy, I'm happy. There are so many souls that are getting washed and given opportunities to transform and to change the ways that they're, sorry, I just need to adjust myself, ways that they're existing in that moment. And to find out facts. Like there has to be some factual evidence occurring. So it shows getting let off the hook after being extremely flowy, where you nearly went over the edge. And so what happens next is there has to be a team, a unification of strength, stability, also a place to rejuvenate and grow at that is special. That there's qualities about where the inhabitants will be at, where the choice of inhabitants is, that is supposed to pull on you, make your soul feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. If your soul and your heart and your entire vessel is telling you to move and to relocate to a place that, or a sacred specific location, acknowledging that what will happen is a support team energetically. There's protections, as well as it shows bountiful beginnings. So that means like abundance, prosperity, growth. Shows stretched lineages in that location, that specific place as well. Locations that are benefiting the beings who choose to be in that moment. Specifically, the one who in past almost went over the edge and decided to be okay through it and found a beautiful place to heal at. And there's others energetically that are there. Shows that there's an effort that is made to move on another journey. There's a gift that's appeared close by. So this shows opportunities. What the opportunities have to do with is a way to cleanse the location, a way to purify. So the location could be your surrounding areas, it could be a home, it could be a business venture, but it has to do with the being who nearly lost it, but was let off the hook and able to move forward in a direction that seems a bit more safe than the others. Now, what I'm seeing is that there's the need to create structure and stability, but that it's being taken, the steps are being taken really carefully so that they don't lose their freedom. However, they are working together, arm in arm, and being smooth with the flow. So like if you were to ride on a surfboard, right, and you have somebody holding onto your waist, are you both going to go in opposite directions? Probably not. You're going to want to be one. Or on the motorcycle, I remember riding on the motorcycles, that you just kind of have to go bend in the direction that they're bending in if they're riding, and be in that flow, be in that movement of working together, and acknowledging that the flowy being may seem very multi fascinated with so many areas, and it may seem like that's a wild, like that's a lot to work with. But when you have trust that that being is doing what is necessary to make sure that everything is okay and is working in the way that it's supposed to be, then is when we acknowledge that that strength mixed with the integration of another flow wave coming in that's going to wash towards this beautiful experience that I'm going to tell you about next. So with the integration with what we'll call light, or the integration with what we'll call soul purpose, like the soul's purpose, not the family's lineage of what they thought their soul purpose was, the real true soul, the soul, before others put their hands in the pot and caused illusions and delusions based on the reality of what actually exists. And with each of us as beings, the reality of what actually exists with us as beings and how well we function and orchestrate through the experiences. There has to be a purification. I do see an adjustment. I do see that there's beings watching from on the outside looking in, that they're watching. And to and to initiate the foundations of that stability, that integration of, okay, well, this is the core and this is what we're doing, so that that is not going to falter, so that that does not crumble and fall, that there is a stability in action, and that the ones who chose to work together, they chose to do so for a reason. So what this, thank you, Michelle, Hashem, love you too. Shows that there has to be moments where we listen and where we speak and where we allow ourselves to lead the herd. So with Howlite in front, there shows that there's guardians, there's infinite, so the knowledge and the wisdom of very early crystal beings that were found. They thought that they were the earliest that they've ever found them, crystals. And that crystal being is participating in the spread. There's a lot happening because when we look at the lineages, we look at the past, we're looking into the past, we must be of the present. What we're doing now is going to be so much more light lifted than what others were taught was possible, who are coming from a limited scope, where they were not looking outside the box or looking through the tunnels or looking to see what is existing. And now is the moment where that anxiety will be relieved and released with the tribes that are rising up together. So if there's business, if it's relationship, if it's self and guardians and guides and some close friends, be aware of what movements are happening and what placement the reading has with you. With Howlite also present, with that, it shows that there has to be healing from the deep wounds from from the family lineage. So very much aware, coming in as an ancestor, coming in as a soul who's already been incarnated multiple incarnations, we come in with an awareness that we must make a positive change to restructure what is existing for creations in the purest, compassionate, pure loving ways that we are meant and destined to. Shows that there is a little bit of a push from another side. They're trying to push their intentions, but that there's so many others present that that's not even an issue or even a concern, that the flow and the movement is picking up girth. It's getting thick and it's pushing through in a way that that purification and healing can be activated within the team, which shows campouts, going places, doing things together, getting together as a team, and working through those experiences. With some use the talking stick. We take turns as a tribe to communicate to some might call elders or loved ones, and we accept that there is a certain journey that's bringing us to where we're ready to be at. And what I see is massive protections, pure love light for those who are coming from a pure love place inside, acknowledging feeling loved, feeling supported. If you're not coming from a pure love place inside, acknowledge that you are not alone, that we have many who love thee also, and that because you don't see somebody there inside the home with you doesn't say that there's not anyone there. Acknowledge the gifts, the messages, the signs. Acknowledge the footsteps, not as something scary or someone scary, hello, but as a spiritual family member who's appeared, especially if you have loved ones who've just recently transformed from their vessels, being aware that they do like to talk, that they do miss that integration. So they do visit, especially if they've already come through the light. It's a lot easier for everyone involved if they've already come through to the light to come through again, because then it doesn't pull as much on like certain electricity things and things like that. But they have to work through their heart healing when they transform. The amount of souls that I've seen praying for forgiveness and praying for those who they were worried about because they wanted to be there to help them. So to them, praying is helpful, and then also the tears and the crying that they've shed to release. It's really very loving and beautiful. So what we have in the activation is, say, all of this beautiful light that we're working on creating and transforming with creations, that there is a gentleness, that there is a wash of peacefulness that comes up and through. So what's shown is a solidity, an acceptance of the souls that have helped along the way. The heart healing expansion with rose color. We have the significance of washing in that pure love expansion. Then also with the special 7 crystal being in an orb shape. Then we have N is touching a, what's your name? I forget their name, I'm sorry. But I know the minerals that are inside. So it's very much as if there's been compromise created to create better sustainable coexistence within the expansions of what's needed to make the relationship successful, bring about an integration of heart healing for everyone who's involved, allow for self-worth and also expansional worth, also teamwork, also shows a rising together in a beautiful, pure love way. Very pure, very innocent, very, very loving and gentle. There's a lot of beautiful messages there, but there are some warnings. And I want you to acknowledge that the waves may come to wash and cleanse and purify in healing ways. When you embrace the waves, when you embrace them as sacred, as purification, and you don't run from them, you become one with them, then you can wash into the shore again. Just do not panic. And you'll notice those who've gotten stuck in, but also rescued, thankfully, in riptides, the ways that the waves, they washed around them. And they're trying to swim out. And it takes getting rescued, or it takes figuring out how exactly you have to jump over and dive into another area to get out of that. But it's seeing the solutions, doing what's necessary to be held, and not panicking. That also is there for quicksand. If somebody is in quicksand, you don't panic, they don't panic. Just calmly, carefully find a solution. And pray that there is a solution, or visualize that the solution will appear there in a healing way. That's a solution. If you are meant to receive in those ways the healing that comes from a pure intention that is non-harmful to others, that's not seeking to sabotage others. It's really important to not seek to sabotage others. And it affects the hearts of beings who do that. They don't even realize it until their face is twitching and they feel like there's things crawling through their bodies and things like that, because they were intentionally hurting others and trying to do that, and their body is reacting. Their vessel's like, that's not what you're supposed to do. Like, the soul inside you doesn't accept it. That's why there has to be healing. That's why the great washing has to occur, is to really purify and bring about positive changes that are transformative and the hearts of creation, because we can feel, we're beings of feeling. So we wash through all of that with pure light that we're supposed to. I'm going to bring in some light and expand it, or I'm going to bring up some light and expand. I'll do some work on your paw also, Teresa, love it. Love it, all who are present, the healing that is needed, I'll pray. I'll bring some light and I'll see what I can do to help. Washing with pure light, pure love. Washing in beautiful bliss, no harm to me. Washing light. Prayers for that, for your babe also. Purifying the blood of those who need your blood purified, and your DNA also repaired for those who are allowed to help. Trachea. There. Oh, Preep. That's really, this looks like you've been doing the loving efforts also to help save creations. Each of us here who are and do, we're thankful for each of us. The beautiful gifts, the beautiful abilities, the beautiful soul shining brightly. We are so thankful. For each of our incarnations and each of our purposes of love and purity that is gentle, that is compassionate, that is healing, that is rejuvenative. Okay, I have some cards here. Would any of you like a card, or would you like to have more healing experiences while we continue to be blessed? Washing in beautiful, loving embrace. Ah. Hello. Greetings, Christine. Thank you for presence also. Thank you, each of you. Iron. Appreciate love. Greetings, Z. Oh, beautiful. I'd be happy to. There, you should feel some relief with that. Thank you. Even transmuting also some of the experiences. It's really very important that we transmute the experiences by raising up a pure wellness with a comprehension that there are beautiful experiences from what has been experienced. And once the solutions have been found, it's so much peace from this washing in, so much loving experiences. But trust and believe that solutions have appeared, that we are not alone. I believe that they have studied our frequencies that we sing. I have come in as well as my creations that I have birthed. Singing frequencies, and we did not have to take courses to get that before we began. I allowed them to sing. I taught them to whoo and educate sound healing in the ancient ways, the early ways from before others broke the tablets or the writings that explain the teachings of music and frequencies. But I comprehend what you're saying. And yeah, I can sing the tree of life frequencies, and was asked to make a song like that. It's good medicine. And then I've learned how to do the throat gargle singing. I'm really thankful for that. I met others who were doing it, and I would be shy to do it, and now I'm not shy to sing in a very deep octave. I'm like okay with it. I can sing in super soprano and really deep, and I feel that each of the frequencies that they hold a key that helps unlock certain areas to help heal those areas, those parts of us. That's why I sing so many frequencies, so many octaves, is because if we are limiting ourselves, then we are not doing wonderful at being us. We are not supposed to limit ourselves. So I make sure that none of you are going to get limited by what you're hearing coming from me when it pertains to you turning on to watch me, to receive messages or receive healings. For whatever reason it is, I want you to comprehend that when I'm singing to you, when I'm speaking to you, I'm doing it in the way that feels as if it is what you need in those moments. I feel what octaves I'm supposed to sing. And if it feels like it's not the correct one that I'm supposed to sing, then I will attempt to repair that and repair it the best of my ability. I'm very thankful. I just remembered being a studio engineer too, like working in a music studio. You can actually adjust the levels and fix it if you don't like the way your voice sounds. But I don't need to do that pertaining to what I'm doing because I intentionally sing in certain octaves. Some moments it happens where it's like, oops, but it's okay. Let's fix it. It says that your adventures. Oh, so what you're saying is that you've. So I'm doing a YouTube video as well. So I'm going to communicate with both. This being says that. Let's see, hello, loved ones. Thank you for saying that resonates. Because yes, it does. Remember the cooing, whoo, whoo, when an infant is created. It's very early we began singing our frequencies. Okay, so you said that your adversaries use a tree that you feel is going to hurt you. You call it that. I don't want to repeat what you said because it is not a happy sentence. Thank you for your messages. Let's see. So I want you to comprehend any of you who feel that there are those seeking to destroy you. Comprehend when we are being true to our soul's purpose. We are loving who we are as souls, as beings. We are loving even those who may have been in past or in these moments considered your enemies or adversaries or competitions. That you and we acknowledge that we are family, we are soul tribe, that there is no need to battle or attack each other. It is not a competition. It is not about who's going to get to be better than the other. We have to hold hands or energetically rise up, ready, not always holding hands, but energetically comprehending each other enough to comprehend how to coexist and how to rise together. Now, there's certain fluidity with that. if you acknowledge that there's certain steps that we have each journey to get to where we are now and where we're going to continue to move forward into. If we allow ourselves to falter or to be swayed from our path and our journey, then we are not being loyal to our purpose. We are not being loyal to that child within that is ready for us to make amends and to creations, to have an existence that's peaceful, that they can feel comfortable and safe, that you can feel comfortable and safe in as well. Because when you acknowledge being really careful is important, then you acknowledge the decisions and choices on the daily, from the moment you wake to the moment you go to bed. And what are you doing to improve Earth, to improve coexisting together, where it's peaceful, where it's loving? When we say we are not going to allow another to hurt us on purpose or allow it to directly affect us in our hearts or in our intestines, then we acknowledge that we don't have to push everyone away so hard, so fast. We acknowledge that we can study the experience, acknowledge, and either wash our hands of the experience and purify and cleanse and make sure that that's not going to hurt us or bother us or put any sort of risk factor on the intentions and the purposes that are occurring. Giving them an opportunity to show their true colors. And then when they do, then you can acknowledge how you're supposed to be safe from that. We acknowledge how we're supposed to be safe from that, not necessarily harming each other, but getting into a safe position that's comfortable, where it's not going to lock you down on your knees, crumpled over in pain because you're not being heard. Every single experience, even if you don't have a way to contact them or write them or tell them how you feel, there's ways to feel and be. The moment that you feel someone's attacking you or seeking to cause sabotage on something that is actually yours in that way, then that's a whole nother subject. But when you have an integration, a collaboration, and there's some little hair of betrayal, then there has to be an acknowledgement. What's that betrayal about? What's going on with you? Do you need some help? Because it seems like you have a little bit of a desire to go toe to toe. And when it comes to coexisting energetically, if you feel somebody racking at you to try and make you crumble, that's when you have to learn, okay, well, that's what their energy feels like, so I'm not going to let that affect me. And acknowledging if somebody else's energy is trying to go out, just acknowledge that it's not yours. It doesn't feel like yours. It feels very uncomfortable to some extent. And so there has to be something done immediately to undo it. And its energy and its intentions, if they're not pure, if they're not coming from a place that's not seeking to hate you or crumble you because they want to be you or some other reason that they have inside of them that they feel frustrated, acknowledging that that's not your fault, that's not our fault that they do those things. It has to do with their healing journey, what they're working on. And not always is, if it's not you, it may be some other being that they look at in that way that they may feel insecure about because of abilities, because of qualifications, because of soul development and soul acknowledgement. There's just different types of beings who really, 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 like, I've had them talk to me and they're like, their agendas have failed. They really had they really wanted it, and that agenda wasn't even going to happen. So we're joining together and working together as beings, some of us who are trusted to work together. There's some who just are not showing that they're trustworthy, and it's quite concerning, and things have to be taken care of if that continues. And acknowledging that when you allow them to affect you or ill affect you, are you saying okay to that attack, Or are you saying, I'm not going to experience that? So once we acknowledge when we're like, okay, we're not going to experience that devastation or that feeling of uncomfortability, what we're going to do is we're going to rise up inside of ourselves the ability to say, I am loved. I am worthy to be myself. I am not going to let somebody else step on me with everything that I am doing or distract me from what I am meant to do. I'm not going to let anyone rush me or hurry me through what I'm supposed to do in the order and the way that I am supposed to do it. Each of us has a vision of what we're supposed to be doing. Not necessarily is their vision going to be the exact same for you as your vision is for you, but comprehend that there's patience, that there's moments when opportunities come through that are not going to be the exact same opportunity for you to get released in those ways. What you're going to discover is the ability to heal self, the ability to say, well, I'm going to go on this journey now and I'm going to go and figure out what I'm supposed to do through these experiences in the healing way that I'm supposed to, so I can acknowledge what has to be transformed so that those kinds of experiences don't continue to reiterate in those ways. What is it that you feel that is happening to you in those moments when you feel like you're able to get attacked in those ways? And or when you're the attacker, what's happening inside of you when you start to do that? Are you not seeing that it's not a very healthy behavior for yourself and for those around you? Have you seen that you are not welcomed by others after you do those kinds of things in those ways? Acknowledging that there has to be some sort of a start and that there has to be some sort of a healing that takes place also. Christine, in the moments of deep, apologies on the inside, yes. And also then writing the notes on the inside, really heart healing, soulfully expanding. Because if you know that you've already communicated with them, if you can like say, oh, I want to call so and so, and they would pick up the phone and call you, you've already connected in that way somehow. If you're able to heal through the grief, you could do it by sharing what you feel about that, not to hurt them, but to let them comprehend, to release you from the grief so that you don't have to continue to have it. So you're like, that's what happened. That's, you owe me an apology or something like that. Energetically, they'll be like, sorry. Some of them will say sorry, some of them won't. But to just be able to say it and to get it through, it feels really amazing to be able to communicate about what is felt pertaining to certain experiences. Okay, I love you, souls. Thank you. Would anybody like a message? Any? I have these ones. I already did them. I have a couple of cards, stacks here. Yes, you can ask a question, Meletta. Very welcome, Christine. Isha. Very welcome. I'm glad. Okay, Jacqueline. Mileta, if you have a question, I can answer. I am watching. So with Garnet shows to work on embracing your purpose, the purpose of what you're passionate, like what you feel passionate about inside the heart that will bring healing through the grief experiences. So say the action that you'll be taking into purpose or expanding and integrating with purpose is to save others, to help them to grow and to develop an awareness of steps to take to get through certain experiences that you were able to get through. Also, so you said you haven't fully activated the spiritual. Uh, there's many multiple shapes of what appears on my window. I've noticed that. Um, it seems like that feels like a guardian, protector, beloved. Yeah. Thank you for being present. Thank you all for being present. Lovely. So the soul's eyes, when the heart is happy, you notice that you can see, and it gets exciting, and beings who are celebrating together, like little groups, and they're like, "Did you see that? Yeah!" And then they get like, and they go on a discovery to see who's there. It's really sweet. Thank you for acknowledging me, Z. That's really beautiful. Oh, I feel very loved. Oh, it's really sweet. Beautiful messages. It's the YouTube channel. Yes, can see the pupils. Part of me wants to like run up and put my wings on, like, but my wings are pretty big, so I'm gonna lift them up and see. Let's see if the face likes it. Looks like it's smiling. Okay, so we're looking. Yeah, there's a lot of really fun things that happen. There was someone singing from the tree that sounded like a cat, and then it turned into like English words, and it was like, wow. I was like singing this, like, who is your mother? And then it was started singing like Arabic style. And I was like, what? Who are you? I love you. And like I looked, and Lovey said, my little one said that while resting, remembers feeling like went into the tree and was like meowing and singing. It's like that's really beautiful if that was Lovey doing that. It did kind of sound like Lovey's meow meows. So that would have been pretty cool. I did teach Lovey how to travel safely. Simon, you ask, is it possible to be a hybrid star seed? Are you saying like mixed, like multi vessel-ish, many families from multiple constellations? It's very natural. There's so many, like when I do the Akashic readings sessions and healings, there's multiple places, that wombs that they had inhabited, that they have recollection of, and when I speak about it, they remember certain places and the experiences and why they are certain ways that they are and how they can heal through that, and then I heal them and work on with them on those areas. So definitely seen many multi like dragon, fae, arcan, some of them Marsian, some of them Pleiadian, some of them other species and light types of beings, and someone who was a reptilian from Germany, and was like, what do you, was like nervous about it because of the publicity that those who have been titled reptilian had been called, and it wasn't like the most friendly kind of things, nor draconians. Like there's like it's not like every single being is just like that. And that soul was pretty light, actually. I helped heal its back. I did distance surgery healing on it. And we were literally there looking at each other, glowing really brightly, our light. And we'd call each other and we'd do that. We'd gaze at each other and shine brightly and smile and then send energy and light and talk about how awkward it is some moments to go into like large parties because we can read their thoughts and feel what they're working through and needs healing. And I'm like, well, I taught how to be safe in those experiences because it is a lot for a being whose family and friends aren't like that. And they eventually will transform and awaken also. But it was really a unique experience to witness that being who the eyes, I saw the pupils blink too, and that's like not that's like regular. My pupils blink. I try not to think too much about it or focus on it as if like I realize my blood type's not human and I'm okay with my unique beautiful ways. um, but it's a lot to, I know it's a lot to see, for some beings to see that there's beings that exist that are not considered human or part of the Remus genes, which is part of the monkey gene. Um, and I feel like it's really important for us to acknowledge each other's presences and acknowledge that we've risen, that we're here, and stop trying to pretend like it's not like a real thing, or that there's like some stereotypes or some sort of uh, idea that because you don't have a human blood type or because you don't or because you glow, or because there's like certain abilities, that there's like a negative about it. It's a beautiful positive. Each of us have beautiful qualities about us that are really important. And when we work together, it's really beautiful. It's like listening to an orchestra, so many pieces, so many parts, and each of us are important, and we must integrate together in a beautiful way to create that beautiful song that can be really, really healing. Oh, I appreciate and love you also, Christine. I appreciate Lovely too. Thank you for appreciating and loving me. And it's really sweet. Thank you. We are here for and with each other, and for us to acknowledge that we are each important, and that we have to be careful not to step on each other's toes, but to acknowledge what each other needs to be okay and orchestrate peacefully together. Do I have to? Yes, I do have some tips about astral projection. Not just tips, but solutions. Very welcome for helping. Okay. So what you want to do, I love the activation 1 pose and the activation pose 001, because bringing in the light within expansion, breathing in deep, 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 expanding the breath. Don't exhale, hold that breath in. And I suggest you getting nice and comfortable and laying and doing that again. Breathe in as deep as you can. Make sure that your elbows are up, your back is arched. You can be laying like that. It's very, very beautiful. And then expand the breath as long as you can. Don't exhale yet. And then exhale when you're ready to. And then you do it again. and again and again. 5. 5 breaths. Really deep breaths. Expand it, but not if you're pregnant. If you're pregnant or you just had some sort of surgery or you're bleeding a lot on the sacred flow, then what's really healing is if you take gentle breaths, gentle breaths, gentle breaths. Feels amazing. Am I like, let's see what you said. Oh, that's so beautiful, Miletta. I'm so happy. Oh, they remember the stories of the pyramids, of the sacred temples, our sacred tribes, the sacred songs. There wasn't as many words used in those ways. There were sounds, there were frequencies, there were words, but they weren't the same kind of words. And when we communicate in a passionate way. And we sing and we dance and we praise. We pray, we create in such passionate ways, such loving, when we are able to feel that. So those who are working through feeling, acknowledge what hurts and what happened and why you're protecting yourself from feeling. Acknowledge why you might bite somebody who's kind, that's not sought to harm you. Why you would seek to defend. And you will see the core of what has happened to you from other experiences that did not have to do with that being, that had to do with yourself and that journey. The experiences and others, other chords, other experiences, other incarnations, not in the present. When you allow yourselves to forgive each other for the incarnations, you release the chains, you release the devastations, and acknowledge that the soul is ready to be retrieved, acknowledged, accepted, and put into action of being loved, not alone. We are loved and not alone. Simon, if you're doing yoga, are you doing it with someone, or are you doing it in listening to musica, listening to sacred tweets, or whatever's happening? And has to be very calming. It can't be like I do it to psytrance because I have I also do it to calm musica, but I teach it to psytrance some moments, but I feel that that's very healing also. What music brings you into a place of feeling calm, feeling visions, and work with that and work with the movement of where you're flowing and how you're accessing your energy in the movements, to acknowledge that and to find a way to flow with that energy, and then you'll start to feel that naturally also occurring. Soul just naturally happens. We come in with the poses, doing them already, and then some days decided to teach about them and be acknowledged as teaching them, but we naturally came in doing the sacred poses. Like Lovey's all up on that. Lovey does professional poses without being taught, have been taught, yeah. Is like, come on, let's do this, come on. It's like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And ready. We get off the bed. And there's spirituality, there's a sense of soul expansions when we're working with certain positions that we're standing, what it feels like, what's happening energetically when we're working consciously and healing soulfully as we're moving the energy through us to heal certain areas, acknowledging. And what I love to teach is that self love and soulful worth when beings are working in such practices to feel comfortable and confident that that they're loved, and also that they're loving, that they're being able to care for their vessels, acknowledging what areas have to be healed, what needs to be moved through energetically, what has to get washed, what has to be transformed, what has to be renewed, what has to be healed, and accepting that the purpose and the journey of um, like, didn't I tell you to go in my hair? Um, I like it like that. The purpose and the journey of what the why is. All right. Well, then you can move through it. If you, I feel like you've watched the yoga videos that I teach on Wednesdays, and I feel that the movement it's enough for you to feel comfortable with. Feels like you would be able to move through those poses and in a kind of a release. Looks like you have to like work. So do I think it's they call it Hathor breathing. It's like the heavy breathing. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out. And really get into it. I feel that that would be beneficial for you, that that would get you in that, because you have another way to lock in. And I feel that that is going to be very beneficial for that. You recognize the eyes. Oh, I'm thankful. Oh, yeah, exactly, Miletta. Also, I would sit there and eat my cereal in like the in froggy pose. And I'd rock back and forth and like eating my cereal, watching the Care Bears or something. Very inspirational show for little ones. Then I believe it helped me to realize how brightly I can shine. It was very, very helpful. All right, let's see. Aw, very loving. You know what's funny is that on the YouTube video, it shows a lot of those faces. It shows Archean, also shows one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight of those. The silvers. I call them silvers. I feel like the color looks silver, not gray. And so I like to say silvers because silvers is a beautiful word for them. But also Andromedians, they are also considered by those who have said the name in that way, but not all beings want to be called those terminologies. Like there's mantises also who are really lovely looking. If you've ever seen them, they look like giant, like mantises, but that walk and wear like actual capes. Like they look like they go out like they actually do, and they're tall, light beings too, not too tall, but comfortably in height. And they even have like little rods. So if you feel like you're getting jabbed with a rod, it's they're examining to see you and to study for a little bit. There's a technology that they're feeding into a vessel who's a channel, just channeling in that way. And that being invited me over to do a special, what is it? It's like a special ops kind of job to return the rain and the snow to the deserts, to Nevada and Reno, because they were having outages and they were scared, and they were working on the technology that they couldn't have stopped. And one of the technology, one of the two of them, one out of two, can, if just by hearing the sound of breath, can identify who we are as beings. And it instantly identified me as the mother of creation and as red turtle woman, which is Venus, which is white turtle woman, because it's like the grandmother, like the, or the mother of them, of the others who came through. But I don't feel connected with gender words, because I have so many of my creations who don't either. And I feel that it's really important for us to acknowledge that we've had many experiences and incarnations. Not always have we been birthed with a vagina, and we are thankful when we are. But some other beings want to have the other, and they want to have a penis, or they're hermaphrodites, and it's totally natural and okay to embrace what you're birthed with in that way. But I feel like it's, in order for us to integrate, we should try not to see things in that way as much, so that those who've been rebirthed and who miss having that, they don't feel so segregated against, because they didn't come in with that peace the way that others would have imagined them to come in, um, to embrace that reality and light. Oh, that's really sweet. Yeah, some of you who saw, we had Tiffany and Christian. Christian is part, you've seen Christian, who plays the flute, has the snake beings there, has like a rescue center for them at its farm, or at the farm there. Um, yeah, Christian's also like not very, is kind of is non really gendery. It's gender fluid, I guess you could say. It's not really focused on not being, is embracing it, and has been abducted. And also, it's, I don't consider it abducted. It's like they go on a visit, but Christian's visit wasn't exactly what I'd consider a visit that is friendly, as friendly as I would like it to be. Like, I wouldn't want someone to do that, or they're like, oh, there's your eggs and let's see what we can make out of the eggs. Christians, like, they're going to find you now, Faith, because they know that you, because they could see, because the, like, Christian feels like they could see what Christian's doing. And Christian's like, and being that, he tells me who I am, and it's like, you need to be careful because they're going to come and get you. I was like, look, the silvers, as I like to say, are the loved ones, the loveds. They've been family, and they've not abducted me. They've not hurt me. They've not come at me in that way. They visited me and put their hand to the glass. Like, I had multiple of them. They used to like make sure that I was safe when I was walking home from walking the being that I was dating off at its house, because I was scared to go to walk to its house. Didn't want to get jumped. And I'm well respected in Oakland also. So I was able to walk um, that being home to its house. Then, and I would be followed by the sacred ships. And there's many ships that come with me, and beings know that places that I work at, I'll bring the ships in. And then when I travel from there, I have to call in my ships from Brentwood. Actually, again, I have to bring my ships back over here. Did they already leave? Okay. It's so funny. And I was also working with them when I brought the rains and snows. So the technology that the mantises taught also, a little village in like near Thailand, but it's not specific where the location is. And they create technology that's like a chamber. It's like going into a complete chamber And what is seen inside of the glasses are they come and they communicate when the glasses are on. When the glasses are not on, I was able to see more of them. So I had multiple opportunities to go into the chambers. And I was greeted by my light doctors, by the ones who are there too. And so now I am aware how to communicate with them and others as well, because it was extremely huge upgrade. I'm gifted, very thankful for that beloved Ohana to do that. But that being, yeah, and well, there's so much information, so much. Um, that being communicated with me about what the jabs were so that I could comprehend, because I could see, I was like, there's like a metal pipe looking thing that looks flat. It's like, yes, they're just checking to see if you're okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay. Please stop poking me. And then I started to see them, it was easier to see them and acknowledge who they were in those moments, to acknowledge who they are, because I see so many beings, and not all of them have the same kind of names that others have named them, and so it's not really as honorable to call them the other names. Like if you see someone like, you're an alien, it's like, well, we don't really like to be called aliens. It's not really the ideal experience if somebody's different and they're being called an alien. To not always fear them either. Christian was actually really excited with the idea of something happening to me like that, and was really like deflated when I was like, they're not going to disrespect me, Christian. They're not going to come take my egg and mix it with your sperm and make a galactic baby from us, Christian. It's not going to happen like that. Christian's like, but in my, I'm like, no, they respect me. They would ask permission before doing something like that. I get to choose. I get to choose, thankfully. And that's what I feel for so many of us. But yeah, it's nice. There's multiple types of species of beings. When I was like, I remember, I remember my sibling and I shared a room then. Um, and all of a sudden, a being appeared on the roof. And that loved walked up, and I was probably in like preschool or kindergarten or something. I was like not that, like I had to stand on the bed and like pull myself up towards the rim of the window to like stand so we could see each other. And I remember the head and the body size, and we put our hands, our paws together, and Jeanette was like, Mom, Dad, help! There's an invasion or something like that. And I was like, shh, shh, you're gonna scare my friend away. Don't you scare my friend away. And then I took it, I was like very serious about it. I was like, this is an experience, Jeanette. You want to go in the other room and tell them, fine, just go in the other room. Go. Like I knew exactly what to do so I could have that moment together. And I see such beautiful ships flying when I'm traveling. They come with me to guard over me and watch me and make sure I'm safe. It's really amazing how many beings appear in the moments, the exact moments when they're supposed to appear, so that I remember that I'm not alone. And I feel like each of us have our experiences where our loved ones appear, like Amanda communicated, that we see that we are not alone, that we acknowledge that there's many of us who are loved and uplifted in beautiful, pure ways. When we start to accept the journey as a beautiful journey, then we accept the beautiful experiences. But we have to look for the beautiful experiences and the experiences. Yeah, Tommy Lee was pretty trippy. So Tommy Lee, the drummer who was married to Pamela Anderson, if any of you remember any of that. Well, that being, I had seen a bit like we not saw like that, like we were aware of each other. I'm like one of the there was only a small handful that was allowed to go into certain places in the club, and and I was working with, I think the bouncer was my friend, and my homies played there regularly, and they were like a glam band that like toured Tokyo and places like that. So it was like it was beautiful. So I got to see Tommy in that environment, and I didn't trust it. And then I saw Tommy transformed, because I was in the special areas because I didn't like to have to go around the all of those others who were like groping each other and stuff. Like I would come through and bring blessings of light, and then I'd go into like the rooftop and do like prayers and sing and stuff. Um, and what was I talking? Oh yeah, I saw Tommy Lee at the Enchanted Forest in Oregon, and Tommy saw me, and it's a similar experience when you see me for the first experience. It's like, what are you? And that's kind of the experience that Tommy felt. Tommy was stopped and was speechless, and we were looking eye to eye and about that close, and the face was half scales. It turned to scales and looked at me and was like, interesting. And I was like, indeed. We both were like, what are you doing looking like that? And we both accepted each other as being. And Tommy seemed a lot, more like a lot calmer and relaxed than in San Francisco at the club, in a forest setting, and where it was just getting hugged on and cuddled on or something. That's what I believe I saw. But I was trying not to pay attention. It was like trying to look at the wall that had beautiful like glyphics, and not hieroglyphics, but geometric shapes intertwining and moving together with images of me. And it was really, really beautiful. That's where they worshiped me at that place. So it was nice to be experienced like that. I met many types of galactic beings, and celestial, ethereal, as well as winged beings and beings that came in on ships and were there with us. There's so many witnesses of these experiences that I talk about. There's even video on YouTube, which is pretty trippy. I found it before I was like, wow. I glow so brightly that my light, you can barely see like the features all the way. It's really beautiful. That's how a lot of video was showing me before I learned how to integrate myself as I am now. Yes, you want to talk to them, huh? I feel like you are like asking like what they want to say. Aw. Someone says that it's not supposed to pollute the earth. You're not. They're actually really upset about that. Um, I'm not upset. How could I say it? There has to be a solution, and because of the impact and the effects that um, the poor or the unwise decisions of utilizing plastic and creating plastic has had on the outer realms of Earth, there has to be a change. There has to be a rise up, the chosen, to do the good work, the work that can save creation. So yes, it's a reiterated message. Thank you. Feels like the jungles, the forests, the places that are sacred, we must protect. We must also restore, rejuvenate. I do see traveling. I do see large amounts of beings moving, traveling, relocating into forests and jungle. Not all jungles don't want them. Jungles do not want you to go there right now. Forests, open places where communities are being constructed, making sure that you're ready if you have to get ready to travel, that it'll be easy and that it's calm. Um, I might need to invest in a trailer and like a trailer hitch or something like that, but we're getting vans for the company, so with wheelchair accessible parts because um, one of our beautiful, beloved team members is helping to create awareness of what is needed for those who are considered unable to walk and having to rely on wheelchairs or other sorts of structures to function. So that Levitt is going to come with us certain places, and we'll have a ramp and all of that kind of um, like structures to be able to pull the body up on and things like that. So the designs are expanding, what we're creating and talking about the new company, Agape Care, um, and its wellness centers, it's healing gardens, it's holistic options, and holistic healings, spiritual healings as well, spiritual, physical, emotional, psychological wellness. And we're doing it in a way that is coming from a place of early knowledge. And so it ensures that there's not going to be a reiteration of the experiences that caused the traumas and the sufferings, so that there is a change that is lasting and sustainable for creations to coexist peacefully, coexistingly, lovingly, in a pure, deep, loving way. Thank you. What am I sitting on? Bells and Sacred Seven. It's like it's in the Sacred Seven. So many. All right, let me see. I'll tell you what the Sacred Seven represents because it just came up. Um, Let me see. Actually, shows kindness, willingness to be part of the flow, a washing of peacefulness, of feeling safe, loved, and not betrayed. An openness to communications, I see settlements that had dictated certain career choices to release. Looks like from prison. So the idea of prison, to release those feelings of bondage and those, if it was not beneficial for you then why would you continue to? So find solutions, healing solutions. Yeah, Brooke, you definitely. So it's not. Yeah, the silvers, or they call them Andromedians. Andromedians is what they call them, but they don't like to be called that. Or else silvers. There's a certain place that you can travel to, have telepathic communications with them at if you are supposed to. If they're watching you or they're talking to you, you'll be able to hear in the way that your body will feel like you're being communicated to. If you feel that you're being communicated to, then you have to start trusting into what kind of feeling is that. Does it feel like pain? Does it feel like peacefulness? Does it feel like someone's getting information? Are you getting tired? Do you feel energized? And acknowledge the experiences. There's multiple types of beings, and when you acknowledge who it is or who they are, then it helps to be able to see what their intentions are. Oh, yeah, we get beautiful light shows and things. It's beautiful. It's really nice. There was like, oh, Shasta is like the womb, is another womb. It's like part of us. Like we went through and did sacred ceremony and anointed. It's so like I don't want to tell you all about what happened. Um, but those who came with, we did some healing on the activational portals, so that what we needed to do was able to happen, and that the ulterior plans that were not supposed to go into ordinance were not able to move forward in those ways. The energy and intention of allowing our souls to reconnect with those who exist is allowing our vessels to remember who we are as souls and as beings coexistingly. At the moment that you decide that you are better than them or that they are not as great as you, is the moment that you see that you have to heal. If we each take the moment to heal from our experiences, we acknowledge that it is not for us to sabotage, but it is for us to integrate in a communicative way that creates the changes that help with the integration, that help with the flow and the ease of the experiences, to be able to adequately juggle the experiences to make them flow, more so flow as an integration, to be able to function smoothly. Can you imagine how peaceful, or how calming it is when we are working together as a family? And I'd like to say that a lesson that has been revealed and that does not feel very comfortable about the experience that I'm working on healing through is that I've helped someone, I and another Loved and a whole team, by having that being taking the moment or the opportunity to offer a place to rest at, to heal at, and also to work at. And the being feels like it wants to take over the whole build, and has not even learned from me yet what I am ready to create. I am coming there and coming to help plan. And I feel that when someone repeats to try and go behind your back or try and make it seem like you know less and they know more, and not comprehending. They're looking for a level, a stature, based on what they imagine is possible for them in that way. And when it comes to those of us who come in running, sprinting, flying, soaring, being, remembering who we are, hearing, seeing, feeling, loving, being loved. It's so much a integrative dance. Thank you for writing that there. Greetings. You pulled a card out about all the soul tribe. It's beautiful. Yay. Speaking of cards, shows life changes and earth light, as well as working on that equality. So when I say equality, I don't like the word equality, I like integration. Integration's beautiful. Or the word balance. I feel that it has to be integration, or the yin and the yang. I'm like, integrate it, mix it all together. And it's beautiful. So loving Gaia, loving Earth, healing through the extremes in such a beautiful, passionate way that there is a humbleness, a humbled comprehension that you also have to do something to create the healing integratively together. It's amazingly beautiful to have the options and the opportunities to do such experiences. Shows humility, frequency of humility. And right next to the Apollonian, and with amethyst as well. It takes allowing your burdens and the past experiences, some call it luggage, allowing the experiences, the devastations, the sufferings, the experiences that were not sustainably your choice in those ways, but you acknowledge that you're working through them, and that eventually at some moment that relief would be felt, and awakening into that experiences, allowing that, trusting that, okay, I'm gonna put down some of those swords and sabers, take off the belts and the shields, and be of light. Let the soul shine bright. And then experience that, looking through the eyes of an innocent, being innocent again, being pure again. What does that feel like to heal like, to be like, to love like? And what can be accomplished from those experiences shows a beautiful protection with black onyx and awareness, spiritual as well as vessel awareness. Shows that the self-reflection is from inside and outwards, to look into each other as if you are each loved ones, to look into, and when I say into, it represents who is that being, what are they amazing at, what are they beautiful at, what qualities do they have, and look at the beauty that you can find about them. And if they look like they want to talk and it's not easy for them, there's ways to communicate with them also, acknowledging that. Not always is it a block of language. It's not a block of language. If you acknowledge ways to draw pictures or to go into translation on your Google search or on whatever, on some search that you have um, available, do it if that feels comfortable. But you could do it on your devices, on your computer, on the computers, not devices. They're not devices. Oh, shows the healing heart. Shows the pyramid and the Trinity as well. Triangle. On the triangle, on the triangle. On two, so that makes three. And that represents the Trinity again. Oh, I'm not surprised. But actually, I am surprised, to be honest. It's really nice. Hello. It's really beautiful. It says to breathe. Remember we were talking about that? How important it is to breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. So breathing in deeply. Breathe in more. Holding that in. Expanding it light. And shows Opal. Emotional magnification. So working through the acceptance of the emotions. Do you feel it's okay to feel? Can you heal? It's okay to heal. Do you feel self-worth when you're feeling the emotions? What are the emotions causing you to feel? What is it that you have to reveal in your experience, the emotions? What is it that you feel you would like to say? What is it that you feel you would like to work through emotionally? Comprehend, don't just numb it. Acknowledge that. Why are you feeling? How can you heal with the experiences of not fighting the soul's purpose? Emotionally raising self-worth helps the soul's purpose when it is of light, of what is now. It is extremely important to work with. It's crystal, more crystal beings. And there were it's like malachite. I'm going to do some purifications. Jaspers. And washing in. Which one? For spiritual truth, the card says, for we, and our spiritual truth is light. So the message shares, do not falter with structures being prepared. If you fall, if you feel like you are on your knees or laying flat, get up again and trust that there's another with their hand reached out, that you're ready, that we are ready, and that it is okay to heal through the experiences of yester experiences. It's okay to accept. And by doing so, we'll be washed clean, purified, cleansed. Thank you. Let me charge my phone, please. Charger. Okay, let's see. Here we are. Ready to charge you. Possibly it will work. Might take you on a whole nother journey in the room. Let's see. Looks like there's salve put on the windows. Okay. Hi. Greetings. Beautiful lovers. Beautiful lovers.